Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Adi Om to everyone. Happy Thursday. Happy coming out of the full moon phase. Hope you had a peaceful mind in the last 24 hours as much as possible. So we're coming to the end of Queen Kunti prayers, and she's an advanced soul, advanced yogini, advanced devotee. She's praying, Krishna, that you protected my family from poison. You protected the Parikshit in the womb from the weapon. You, Lord Brahma, they said Lord Brahma prayed for you to come into this world to remove evil. And I'm supposed to be your aunt, but I know who you really, really are here. You know, you are unborn, even though you took birth of the son of Devaki, and in the womb of Devaki, nah, you're still unborn. So she's just bringing out all these prayers, and she's saying, you know, let my attention be attracted to your lotus feet constantly, like the rivers flowing into the ocean. So when the rivers are flowing into the ocean, it's constant. So throughout the day, our mind, our focus on somebody is constantly being pulled away, pulled away. She's saying, let my mind be pulled by the thought of your lotus feet. And then her famous mantra, what was one of the famous mantra prayers anyone can remember? She says in all the different things in her prayers, what was one of the famous mantra? You go all over India, east, north, south, you'll hear them quote this mantra.
Please let all the calamities to come.
Yes, thank you, Vrinda. She's telling Krishna, Krishna, when these calamities come, I pray, my prayer is even deeper. Please let these calamities come upon me again and again and again. That way I will never forget your lotus feet. So this is out of all the prayers, she said, everyone in India knows this mantra. They might not know the other prayers, but they will know this one. There's a powerful queen, right? The queen of Arjun's mother. So now, of all the now she culminates her prayers in the next mantra. So the last mantra of her prayer is mantra 43. So that's where we are, mantra 43. Srila Prabhupada translates. So this is the last prayer she offers. She says, O Krishna, O friend of Arjun, O chief amongst the descendants of Brishni, you are the destroyer of those political parties which are disturbing elements on this earth. Your prowess never deteriorates. You are the proprietor of the transcendental abode, and you descend to relieve the distress of the cows, the Brahmins, and the devotees. You possess all mystic powers, and you are the preceptor of the entire universe. You are the Almighty God, and I offer you my respectful obeisances. So she summarizes everything about Krishna's appearance in this world. She says, first thing she says, you are the friend of Arjun. Because remember, she has 5 sons, yes? Yudhishthir, Bhim, Arjun, Nakul, Sahadev. 5 sons of Queen Kunti. But and Krishna is friends to all of them. All of them love Krishna like anything. But he has a special relationship with Arjun. So she says, yeah, you are the friend of Arjun. And even in the Gita, Krishna tells Arjun, right? What did Krishna says in the Gita? He says, of bodies of water, I am
Ganges.
No, bodies of water. Bodies of water, I am the
Ocean?
ocean. Of sacred rivers, Babadi, I am
Ganges.
the Ganges. Of letters, I am the letter A. Of the Pandavas, I am
Arjuna.
Arjun. Yeah. So he's telling Arjun, of all of I am you, Arjun. So the epitome, right? So we say that when Krishna speaks like that, Krishna is saying, God is everything, but especially the epitome of everything, right? The epitome, yeah. So that's the first thing. You are the friend of Arjun. That relationship is very rare, built on a sweet love. Then she says, next point, she says, you're the chief amongst the descendants of Brishni. So the Brishna dynasty, right? Coming down from Lord Ramachandra all the way down. Krishna is born in that dynasty. So makes the dynasty had many powerful beings, but you are the chief, right? Then she says, right? Krishna says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glane bhavati bharata. I again and again reincarnate in this universe to do those 3 things. What are those 3 things?
To rid the world of evildoers.
To rid the world of evildoers.
Bring back the Dharma.
To establish Dharma. And the primary thing he comes to do is to
Protect the devotees.
protect the devotees. So to establish Dharma and to remove evil from the face of the earth, secondary and tertiary. Primary, protect the devotee. So here, Queen Kunti is summarizing the devotee, the friend, Arjun. Then she says here, you are the destroyer of those political parties which are disturbing elements on this earth. So remember, Arjun is in a royal family, and being part of the royal family, they rule the day. So what we say political parties around the planet, that's what Arjun's brother Yudhishthir is the king. So he's the political leader. And you can see their cousins were evil-minded, Duryodhan. So, very materialistic people. Duryodhan, they saw Krishna and they think, oh, Krishna has mystic powers, right? We can trick him. But Arjun, they were devotees of Krishna. No, Krishna is not an ordinary person. It is hard to understand Krishna's personality. So if the mind is covered with materialism and false ego, it's hard to see who God is. So, and there's always this competitive nature, right, amongst the materialistic. So when political parties are established on the planet, we should know, especially in Kali Yuga, right? It is hard for them to be very spiritually motivated. They are mostly materialistic. So Krishna says, I am time, kalasmi. So Time. Krishna remove everything by time. God in his own sweet ways. And sometimes political parties are very evil-minded, right? They get a political party and then they want to wipe out a whole race. We've seen it in history, right? Again, the evil that's there in politics. I mean, I have some friends from Uganda and the way Idi Amin used to rule there. I had friends from where Mugabe was. They had to run away because of, if you're not, they eliminate. That's evil. Let's hope America doesn't go that way. Right? This is evil-minded leaders, right? Let's hope we can balance, the qualities of goodness can go into people's minds and recognize, wait, we're not just materialistic people. We're spiritual beings. It's amazing, right? Right now, as we're speaking, there's so many wars on this planet. All those wars are dictated by politicians. And there's a reason why there's wars on the planet. One of the main reasons is greed. Someone is getting wealthy from making weapons, right? It's amazing. So we only see what the news, but you have to see the transcendental perception way. We're supposed to be all spiritual brothers and sisters. But this universe in Kali Yuga we divide again and again and again, and we lose the reverence for life. That, on the stroke of a pen, Arjun's brother was not like politicians today. Arjun's brother was a warrior. He was on the front line of the battle. Today, all politicians sign a paper and send millions of young kids to go fight a war for them and die. That's not the politicians that we're referring to in the Bhagavatam. These warriors, where was Arjun? Front and center at the battlefield. That he could die as well. But today, the power is not about these kind of qualities anymore, unfortunately. So we could just see if Krishna came to protect Arjun from that. That tells us a hint. What does that a hint? The evil-minded Duryodhana was 100 times more evil than different politicians around the planet today. If we see Krishna incarnate in this present day, then we know, they caught up to that level of evilness. So let's hope they don't get there, right? Right. So yeah, it's where you see a leader. Okay, we're going to war with this country, and I will be front and center. Doesn't exist anymore. So today we just have, not even evolved leaders in that sense. These were Kshatriyas. These were warriors like Arjun. So go to battle to remove evil. So Krishna, he says, the queen is saying, you come to remove evil politicians like this. So we can have faith in that. We are not that. What we're going to do is nothing compared what they went through at that time. And Krishna Kalasme, remove everything with time. The next point, she says, your prowess never deteriorates. Wow. She understands someone is strong today, right? But as time goes on, they will get weaker and weaker and weaker. Right? I have my cousins, Mr. Belize, Mr. Caribbean, 20 years ago. When I meet them, they're skinny. I'm like, hey, where did it go? They lost their power, right? Because it's temporary. Was it Arnold? Was it Arnold's? What's his name? Mr. Universe, I think, right? Doesn't look like that anymore. But Krishna, always his prowess never deteriorates. That's amazing. Eternally powerful. Queen Kunti pinpointed it. Eternally powerful. Next point she says here. You are the proprietor of the transcendental abode. Wow. So this tells us she knows there is a spiritual abode. So we have this material universe with the 14 planetary systems, but they know that there is a spiritual abode where we came from. So in every person, there's a remembrance there, but we forgot it. Imagine you take a fish out of water, right? You put the fish on land. What does the fish do? It wiggles. Because in the subconscious, I know there is water somewhere. And until the fish get back in the water, yes. So every one of us knows deep down that this material world is not our home. This material world, Queen Kunta says earlier, it has a lot of challenges, frustrations. So when we go through the challenges, it should enhance our desire to go back to that other abode, that spiritual abode. And in the spiritual world, right, Lord Brahma explains, Shriya Kanta Kanta Padama Purusha. Lord Brahma explains that spiritual abode have buildings made of touchstones, gems. People there, when they walk, every walk is a dance. Every word is a song. It's eternally beautiful. That's where we want to go. So she has no, oh yes, we're living in this, where a lot of suffering, but I know there's another spiritual abode, and you, Krishna, are the proprietor of that abode. Very beautiful realizations. The next one, she says, you descend to relieve the distresses of the cows, the Brahmins, and the devotees. Why did she pinpoint these three things? Anyone knows? Why did she? There's so many things, but she says you descend to protect the cows, the Brahmins, and the devotees. She emphasized three things here. And Srila Prabhupada explains these are the three things that make society run beautifully. That as soon as the society stops protecting cows, we start to have too much violence starts. So the cow, right? I think I explained a few classes ago, if you have a cow, from the cow you get milk. Then back then they didn't have refrigeration, right? So they had to use the milk. What they would distribute the milk. Then the rest of the milk that they couldn't distribute, what did they do? Turn it into curd. Turn it into yogurt. Then they'll distribute the yogurt, distribute the curd. Then they still have, they would turn it into butter. Then when they're finished making butter, they still had some more. What did they turn the butter into? Ghee. So from one milk, you can get so many things which are healthy for your organism, your body and soul. So that's why Krishna comes to protect the cows. And normally, traditionally, when you see a picture of Krishna in Vrindavan, if you see the artist paint Krishna in Vrindavan, they will always paint him with a cow. If they have a painting of him in Dwarka, there's no cow. He's a king there, and he has the palaces and royalty. But in Vrindavan, always with cows, protecting cows. And so when my guru had the vision to come to the land where I'm around, he has the farm. It's a farm to reestablish cow protection. Because today, right, if you are in America, if you see cows when you drive on the road, they're not there for protected. They're there for slaughter. Eventually, they'll become someone's food. So she says, you come to protect the cows. Then, so because we get so many gifts from the cow. And then she says, the Brahmins. Why is the Brahmins important? The Brahmins are important because they are education. They educate people on the laws of this universe, right? So we know educators are needed, right? I am grateful for my school teachers. I am grateful for my spiritual teachers. I am grateful for anyone who gave me knowledge, right? So the Brahmins are considered, Krishna protects the Brahmins, protect them. So they are in the mode of goodness. So people, how do you know who's a Brahmin, Yogi Charu? They are in the mode of goodness. So a Brahmin lives a life of moderation. Yes, they move around in this world, they work, they recreate, they teach, they do everything in moderation. And because they're governed by the mode of goodness, they go to places like the parks. Their friends are educated people who like to study. The food they eat are free from violence. So this is a Brahmin, right? We say this is someone who is evolving consciousness. They are important to society. Today, no one cares for a Brahmin, right? It's described. Remember when in the Mahabharata, when the king died, and the three wives were there, the Brahmins came together and they contemplate. We need to find the most evolved conscious being to impregnate the wives. That amazing, right? Who was the most evolved conscious being? Someone who is pure from envy, pure from jealousy, pure, free from lust, free from greed. That's Vyasadeva. So Vyasadeva was considered the most evolved soul on the planet. When I heard that, I was like, wow. And I used to always contemplate, now who's the most evolved person on this planet? I wonder who is that? Like pure, right? And I asked my teacher that once. And my teacher looked at me and said, you become that most evolved being, Charu. That's your dharma. Try and become. I was like, oh, whoa. I don't think I'm that evolved, but you should try to become the most evolved conscious being. Because today, right, we put so many people on pedestals and they're all just filled with greed and envy and jealousy. And, they have external karmic gifts from God. But evolved conscious being, that's a whole lot of ball game. So whenever we meet someone who's pure like that, wow, you want to revere and like, wow, get the association. So whenever I would spend time with my teacher, I see someone who was almost close to that. I was like, whoa. And he was humble. He was like, yeah, I'm still working. I'm like, wow, if you're still working, I got a long way to go. Right? We want to evolve. So who's the most so if we were to question who's the most evolved being on the planet, right? And evolved being doesn't mean we're speaking about spiritual evolution, right? Someone who has love for all animals, love for all plants, love for all humans, that level of evolution. And my teacher used to say, Vyasadeva is still in the cave. I said, yeah, but I went there and I didn't see him. Can I see someone who is also on the planet like that? Yeah, then you become that evolved. We work to purify yourself, Charu, and become an evolved being. I was like, okay. So this is why Brahmins are important. The Brahmins can tell us, they're so educated with the laws of nature, they can guide us, they can show us, who is evolved, who is not. They can show us the truth, they understand the laws of nature. Then the third, she says, devotees. Because a devotee is very rare. It's Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, after many, many births, someone starts to understand me. And out of many of those who started trying to understand me, hardly anyone know me in full detail. So a devotee of God is very hard to come by. So whenever you come across a devotee of God, you should know that that is a blessing upon you, right? So when I came across Srila Prabhupada's books the first, I was like, whoa, because I met yogis, right? But then I met a devotee, and I met devotee through song vibration first, through his book. I was like, whoa, this is far out. Before I was thinking, yeah, I want to become God. When I read Prabhupada's book, I was like, no, you cannot become God. You are a servant of God. I was like, this makes much more sense, right? So Prabhupada b- b- meeting a devotee through song. Then I started to meet his disciples. I was like, oh, this is a devotee. A devotee is someone who loves God and serves God through devotion constantly, serves the planet through devotion. I was like, wow. So Queen Kunti pinpoints these three things: cows, Brahmins, and devotees. They're rare. So if you ever see a cow and protect them, if you see a Brahmin, learn from them. If you see a devotee, serve them. When you render devotion, because they're always in the mood of service. You meet a devotee, what a devotee will do to you? Serve you. So what do you do back to? You serve the devotee. And then it becomes service, service, service attitude. This is devotion. Amazing.
When does a person cross over from devotee to Brahmin though? Because isn't it teacher, student, student, teacher, or
So there are many teachers. They're not necessarily there are many Brahmins. They're not necessarily devotee of God. So you find a lot of Sanskrit scholars in India. They're Pandits, they're Brahmins. They live like this, but they're not devoted to God. They look at, oh, God doesn't exist. Right? But they're Brahmins, they're in the mode of goodness. They're clean, they're all that. They know the books, they teach, but they might not be a devotee. It's hard. So this is how you know. And then you find a lot of people born in Brahminical family in India, but simultaneously they are devotees. So those also exist, right? They're natural Brahmin. They got their initiated into the Brahmin mantras from like 3 years old, and then as they grow up, also they learn the devotional mantras as well. So that's also there. So Srila Prabhupada was born in a Brahmin family, and simultaneously his father was a devotee. His father gave him the name Abhay Charan, one who is fearless, having taken shelter of the lotus feet of God. Who gets a name like that, right? My guru, born in a Brahmin family, his parents were also devotees. My guru got the name Krishna Kumar. Like, how can oh, I'm going to think of it. Your name is Krishna Kumar. Right? Das, they put das on the end. Das means servant. So when you know a devotee, they'll normally tell you their name, and their name will have a das at the end, right? So I think whenever you meet it, oh, my name is. So when I got my initiated name, my guru gave me Charu Chandra Das, and he said, "You are Das, servant." Charu Chandra. Chandra means moon. Charu means beautiful. He said, God and all of God's children have beautiful moon-like faces, and you are Das. You are their servant. So we're trying to become a devotee. Yeah, Das means servant. That's why when you meet a devotee, they're in this mood of service. Das. And for the female, what is it? Brinda. Brinda is initiated. So
It's
female
very dasi.
Devi. Devi means divine being. Dasi, divine servant. Right. So Das in the West, right? If you go to Kirtan, you'll hear Krishna Das. In other words, he's a servant of Krishna. Who else is popular in the Western world in yoga? Kirtan. Yeah, but yeah, the female.
Ram
Get
Das. Ram
Ram
Das.
Das. Yes. So again, Das, servant. Ram Das, Krishna Das. So if you find a female, they'll have Devidasi, right? Brinda Kumari, Devidasi, right? Devidasi, the servant of the divine servant. So Brindavan, Kumar means Radharani. Radharani, she's the beautiful young Radharani who controls Krishna. So, and Devidasi, you are the servant of that being, yes. Servant of Radharani, servant of Krishna. So this is what the distinction between devotee and Brahmin. Does that make sense, Margaret? Yeah, because you can have a Pandita scholar who can be an atheist. You can have a scholar who can be a devotee of God. Both of them would consider to be Brahmins, but one is also a Brahmin and a devotee. Good. So she said these three things: protect the cows, protect the Brahmins, and protect the devotees. As she summarizes her thing, she says, you possess all mystic powers, and you are the preceptor of the entire universe. You are the Almighty God, and I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. So this whole universe is so huge. With our little tiny brain, we cannot figure out the 14 planetary systems, right? The planets we see in our telescope, right? Me and Baba, they used to chill out on Kailua Beach every twice, right? Every night, watching through. Baba, they had these amazing telescopes watching this planets and like that. But all those planets we can see with our technology will only lead us to the Burmandal planets. Now, above our Burmandal, there's other lokas, Satyaloka, Brahmaloka. So we cannot see those planets even with our technology today. What's our scientists? They send the amazing camera. What's the name of the camera? It goes out in space and take photos of the galaxies and like that. The web. Is it the Weber? What is it? Does anyone know the name of the camera that our scientists?
It's the web. It used to be the whatever, but the web is the new one. Is the Webb telescope.
Yeah,
Weber,
so,
yeah.
And every time it takes photos out there, we get some wow. Our scientists like whoa. So when I see the photos, I'm like, wow, they're catching up. They're already catching up to what the Bhagavatam already described 5,000 years ago. Right?
It's James Webb.
James Webb, yes, James Webb camera, amazing, and it takes photos and it's like, so it makes you understand. Wow, we're on a small little planet. This universe is so vast. And the queen is saying, you, Krishna, are the supreme mystic. You have this whole universe working in alignment. Amazing. So we really expand. Wow. If you listen to Queen Kunti's prayers, you read them again and again, it allows you to expand the consciousness. And then she said, you are the ultimate God. I offer my obeisances unto you, to Krishna. Let's continue to our next mantra. Mantra 44. Sutta Goswami said, the Lord, thus hearing the prayers of Kunti Devi, composed in choice words for his glorification, mildly smiled. That smile was as enchanting as his mystic power. What are some things that enchants us in this universe? Margaret, what enchants your mind? Like, whoa. Many things, just share one with us.
Like a natural thing,
Yeah,
or
a natural thing. Anything that enchants.
I'm always amazed at the ocean and the waves, how they come in and out, and when they're more powerful and then when they're calm. So it's kind of like has nothing to, yeah. They kind of, yeah.
Whoa, amazing. Bashak, something that enchants you.
Last night I was watching the full moon here, and it was moving so fast. It was like I couldn't even catch. I was like, I can't believe it's moving so fast. And it reminded me how we are all moving so fast in the Earth planet too, that we don't even realize. We think we are standing here.
Yeah, we think we're still
incredible.
We're spinning. Amazing. The enchant. Once the mind expands, wow, you start to see the things of this world that Krishna created that enchants us. Thank you. Brinda?
Sunrise. Sunrise is always so enchanting.
Right? You see a sunrise? Oh man, it's amazing. Yeah, cool. Thank you. Babadi?
I'm enchanted by looking at Paula's baby, that Paula's baby has the same opportunity as Sutta Goswami did in the mother's belly, listening to these words, and that she's standing there and this baby is taking in this. Woo!
Drinking in the
That's
Bhagavatam.
enchanting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Listening to that.
Birth is mystical. Yes, we're enchanted by birth, right? Wonderful. Thank
Yeah,
you.
but the baby gets to listen to this. The baby's hearing this.
Yeah, yeah.
The baby is hearing this. Yeah.
Thank you. Greg?
Well, I'll just come up with rainbows.
Rainbows are amazing, right? I don't think you can find any human who is not enchanted by a rainbow. You see a rainbow, it's like, wow, it has that effect. Amazing. And watch my shirt.
Oh, yeah.
The rainbow state today. Aloha. Thank you. Paula?
I guess going to a place like Vrindavan and seeing a lot of, devotees
Devotees.
worship God and like serve their lives. Yeah, like the whole town or like cultural, like yeah, going to different culture and seeing that
Yeah.
culture, way of living.
What year did you go to Brindavan?
2000, wait, 2018? 2018.
Okay, cool. Wonderful. Amazing. Yes. So many devotees. And they're rare, right? So Krishna protects the devotees. Thank you. Helene?
For me, where I live, I guess I would say the change of seasons, especially how the mountains look differently in every season.
Yes. The season change, right? Enchantment. So all these things are Krishna's smiling to us. Wow. Whenever you see something that enchants you, know that that's Krishna's smile. Kai?
Flying, specifically like birds that can fly.
Yes, amazing, right? See some they glide and they move and they just. We were in a park a couple days ago and I caught one like a big one fly. I was like, oh wow, enchantment. Thank you, Kai Mahala. Jenny,
I love the flavors of the fruit, different types of fruit.
fruit flavor, the enchantment of fruits, right? Pineapple, papaya, mango, enchants. Yes. So anything that enchants us is like Krishna smiling to you. Pause when you see it, and then, this is God's smile to us. So, Shukadev Goswami is saying, Krishna smiled, and that smile was enchanting at his mystic power. Let's continue next mantra. It says, mantra 45. Thus, accepting the prayers of Srimati Kunti Devi, the Lord subsequently informed other ladies of his departure by entering the palace of Hastinapur. But upon preparing to leave, he was stopped by the king, Yudhishthir, who implored him lovingly. So Krishna told the other lady, yes, I'm preparing to leave. I'm going to go, thank you. And then the king, Arjun's eldest brother, is like, please don't go. When you love someone, right? You don't want them to go. Oh, why are you leaving? So whenever I read this, I always think of when I'm at the airport. When I'm at the airport, you always see this exchange, right? The family members are like saying, "Good, don't go," and they're like, "Hey." This is love. This is what love is about. You want the person to go, but you want them to stay, right? So the king is like, King Yudhishthir is like, please don't go. Mantra 46. King Yudhishthir, who was much aggrieved, could not be convinced, despite instructions by the great sages headed by Vyasa and the Lord himself, the performer of superhuman feats, and despite all historical evidence. So King Yudhisthira is put in a position to become the king now. He's the king. The war has finished. But then King Yudhisthira is like, so many people died. Does anyone know how many people died in the Battle of Kurukshetra?
650 million people.
640 million, I think. 640 million people, warriors, all warriors, no innocent women, no children, no. All warriors died. So that burden is on his head, like, so many people had to die for me to become the king. So after the war, the priests, the Brahmins, and Lord Krishna established him as the king. So now he's not Yudhisthira, he is King Yudhisthira. He's already coronated as the king. So as the king, he's like, Krishna, I don't want you to go. Please don't go. Please stay a little longer. I might be the king of this planet, but you are the king of the universe. You created the universe. So he's understanding his dependency on God. Next mantra. 47, it says, King Yudhisthira, the son of Dharma, overwhelmed by the death of his friends, was aggrieved, just like a common materialistic man. O sages, thus deluded by affection, he began to speak. So remember, Yudhisthira is the son of Dharma, right? The Lord of Dharma means he lived a dharmic life. It is described in the Mahabharata. Yudhisthira never told a lie in his whole life. Wow. Amazing, right? There's a being who never told a lie. I was like, man, I read that when I was like 18. I was like, man, I told somebody that I'm disqualified. I just said, okay, Charu, from today, stop telling lies. You get empowered when you think of these beings. And why is he so pure? His father is the Deva of Dharma. And so he got deluded and he forgot his position as the king. So when you get deluded, he starts to speak. And when you speak in delusion, the delusional words come out. King Yudhisthira said, "Oh my lot, I am the most sinful man. Just see my heart, which is full of ignorance. This body, which is ultimately meant for others, has killed many, many phalanxes of men." So he's feeling like he went to war, but he forgot that was his dharma. He forgot that was what he should do to remove evil from the face of the earth. He forgot that's what he came here to do. So, but he's deluded, and when you're in deluded, you can still philosophize, right? So remember, at the beginning of the Gita, Arjuna also went into that delusion. Arjuna was like, I don't want to fight. Arjuna forgot who he was. He forgot that he was the topmost warrior. And so Krishna spoke the Gita first. So now, similarly, his brother is like, oh, so many people died for me. I feel sinful. I feel this, that. But remember, Krishna protected them. Did I tell you this story of when the battle finished, so much envy and anger was coming towards Arjuna. So when the battle finished, Arjuna told Krishna, Arjuna is a devotee. Krishna, please get off the chariot first. Krishna says, no, Arjuna, you go first. Because the level of toxic energy that came towards you, it got trapped in this chariot. So Arjuna got off, and Arjuna went about maybe half a football field away, 50 yards. And then when Krishna stepped off, boom, the chariot burst into flames. So if Krishna had gotten off and Arjuna would have died, but Krishna understood, no, Arjuna, you don't understand what this chariot is filled with toxicity. It's ready to combust. You get off first. Arjuna was like, oh wow, Krishna is constantly protecting me. So this is a devotee. A devotee knows God is constantly protecting them. So let's meditate on a few of the for a couple minutes on these mantras. Bring the spine tall, close the eyes, palms on the knees, touch the tip of the thumbs, tip of the index fingers. Bring the awareness to the breath. Feel the air moving in and out. Gaze into the center of the eyebrows. And as we gaze there, let's connect to the wisdom of the powerful queen. As Kunti prays, she says that cows should be protected because they offer so much to us. Our teachers, the Brahmins, should be protected. And the devotees, those who are devoted to God, should be protected. So whenever you meet such beings, you want to respect them, serve them in one way or another, with gratitude for their guidance, gratitude for a cow, for the gifts. She says that there is a spiritual abode where you came from, where we all come from. And you, Krishna, are the proprietor of that spiritual abode. So we know that this material world has many challenges, that spiritual abode. No more material challenges, no more old age, no more disease, no more death. He says that you are creating the whole 14 planetary systems. You are the proprietor. Let me offer my obeisances unto you, O Krishna. And I want you to remember a time when you were at the airport, when one of your loved ones was leaving, or you were leaving, and the love, the affection that was there, they want you to stay, want us to go. So this is love. Beautiful love is always exchanged at an airport. So the king, he heard Krishna is leaving. He's like, Krishna, I'm the king of this planet, but you are the king of the universe. Please don't go. I love you. Please stay a little longer. So for the rest of next 24 hours, let's really appreciate our family members, our friends. Don't take them for granted. Appreciate their friendship. Appreciate their familial love we have for them. This is a devotee. Recognizing the friends, the teachers, because everything on the planet is provided by God for us to evolve, to serve them. Don't exploit them. Take a deep inhalation. Exhale slowly. Breath to normal. Palms to the heart. Lower the head towards the higher self and towards the Lord in the heart. Namaste. Lift the head. Open the eyes. Thank you all so much. Don't get bogged down by the politics on the planet. Krishna will remove them in time, gracefully, either through time or he sent things in there, right? Kali Yuga. But we can evolve, keep evolving ourselves. Thank you, Margaret. Thank you, Bashak. Thank you, Paul. Mahala Pala. Thank you, Helene. Thank you, Brenda. Mahala, Greg. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Yvonne. Hariom Tatsat. Thank you. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. Cheers.